All right, everyone. Terry and Steffi will be joining me in a matter of about 10 minutes. So we'll just give everybody a chance to prepare themselves. I've been waiting to get this interview for a long time. A lot of questions, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Uh, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, just feel free to send them in. I have a whole heap of questions myself that I want to ask. So we'll just give it a minute. There's a lot going on in the world of boxing, lots to discuss. Hope everybody had a good holiday. There's one thing that I was goody, Ziggy was goody, Rockstar was goody, Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Was goody Timmy Nealon, was goody Emmett, Ziggy. Fear not, I have received word from Steffi Bull. They'll be joining me shortly in about 10 minutes. So I'm very much looking forward to it. You know what I mean? A lot of questions, man. A lot of questions. We might see Mikaela Mayer run down here with a chair, running ringside, trying to RKO somebody, man. Buried Rhythms was good. Lance Meyer was good. Anderson was good. Faluzzo was good. UK Rob was good. Was good. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Very much looking forward to it. Been trying to get this interview for a very long time. Been a fan of Terry and Steffi and their work before they even joined Matchroom. I was like, yo, that girl going to end up beating that. Well, I said she's going to be a champion. Whether or not she beats everybody, that has yet to be determined. Willie Boy was good. New FX design was good. So, yeah, man. Very exciting times in the sport of boxing. And I was just on Instagram, and I was talking about not even I was talking about. I think somebody else was talking about it. No, yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen that pound for pound list from Champ Side, where he has Errol Spence Jr. as the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Canelo Alvarez is not on there. Kazuto Ioka is on there. Chocolatito's not on there. Estrada's not on there. Caleb Plant is on there. And Shakur Stevenson and Javante. I'm like, yo, dog, like, this is a fanboy list. And the only reason I brought it up is because some guy left me this long paragraph about what I said. Some guy left me a long paragraph like he was dumb tight. I'm like, yo, dog, like, at the end of the day, y'all fanboying, man. Nobody credible ranks Errol Spence Jr. as the #1 pound for pound fighter in the sport. The only ones doing that are his fanboys. And you could try to rationalize it however you want. There is no logical argument that supports that point of contention. There isn't. Errol Spence Jr. has beaten 2 world champions, to Terrence Crawford's 4, to Naoya Inoui's 4, to Chocolatito's 4, about to be 5 if he beats Estrada. There's all of those fighters have been champions in more weight classes than Errol Spence Jr. They have beaten more active reigning world champions than Errol and more top 10 fighters than Errol. So if for some reason you're ranking Errol ahead of them, it can't be based on boxing. It cannot be based on boxing. It has to be based on your fandom, your enthusiasm. Because if we're going off of boxing and boxing records, you cannot reconcile that. The dude got Shakur. I like Shakur Stevenson. I think he's gonna be pound for pound. I think he will be. But he not there yet. Who did he beat? I mean, it's wild out here, man. Boxing is the only sport where this type of stuff happens, yo. Only in boxing. And only in America. Like that Rocky movie with Tommy Gunn. Only in America. You only see that here. Like, I don't see nobody else, nowhere else doing stuff like that. You only see that here. They're like, yo, dog, like, how you gonna rank Shakur Stevenson is pound for pound and Caleb Plant as pound for pound? Like, based on what? Jose Uzcategui? Mike Lee? Vincent Fagenboots? And then say that the list is based on who you beat. Clearly it's not. Not if you got them guys on it. I agree, Joe Lazizi, I agree. But like I said, only in boxing and only in America does that happen. Because if you look at how the sport is covered in other parts of the world, you don't. All right, there's Steffi. There's Steffi and there's Terry. All right, everyone. About to welcome Stefy and Terri to the live. Stefy,
how are you?
What you doing, man?
Are you good?
Is that your speaker?
Very good, very good. And I see
Have we got some dodgy
Terri.
noise there?
Terri is over there to the far right, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to set it up properly.
All right, everybody. So I hope you guys had a good Christmas and a good New Year's.
Yeah, very good. Nice break. I'm glad Terri broke her hand now.
Sound.
So I wanted to ask you guys, how's the hand healing? Is the hand okay?
Yeah, it's good. I'm just making sure I'm not doing too much.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to start off. I've got like a million questions for you because I've been a fan of you for a while. Like before y'all even signed the Matchroom, like I was like, yo, that girl, watch that girl.
I've been telling Terri, ever since I come across your channel just after she beat Nina Bradley for that WBC International, and I come across you just by chance or bumming YouTube, and you'd done a report on it, and it was brilliant. And then obviously us Brits don't get much of your accent, so I was just buzzing that Terri were in America.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm glad that things are happening the way that they are happening for you guys. I'm glad that you got a world title, you got signed to Matchroom, because if you've been following the channel, you know that I've been saying like I want Eddie Hearn to sign her because if Matchroom, she'll be able to get the fights that she needs under the Matchroom banner. So I'm glad that everything happened the way that it did. I just want to start off with two questions, two very basic questions. We're going to start off with the Jonas and your fight with Natasha. And I always wanted to ask you, did you know that the fight was going to be as rough and tumble as it was? Because the way that people were treating the fight leading up to it, as opposed to how the fight played out, it was like night and day. Like everybody thought, oh, it's going to be easy. Did you guys in camp anticipate a difficult fight?
So every fight, I'm always expecting like the best of my opponent, and we got told like Tasha's like the old Tash, like how she was an amateur in the Olympics. So throughout the whole camp, we were just studying Tasha's best performances, and that were back in the Olympics and stuff like that. So yeah, we never underestimated her. But for sure, on fight night, she definitely pulled her socks up, and Tasha's gave me my best fight as a professional. So and amateur, that's my hardest fight I've had. So.
Now with the Katharina Thandas fight, I wanted to ask about the knockout because I anticipated that you would win the fight, but I didn't imagine you was going to knock her out, let alone with a body shot. And I wanted to ask you, like, were you going for the knockout, or is it just something that happened in the heat of the moment?
We'd seen that she's, what do you call it? Like she's got short arms, so she's open to body. And throughout camp, we were working on overhand right, and then following up with left up to body, and that's what I thrown, and it just worked off perfect, really.
Katarina's a very, very good fighter if you fight her fight. So like I'd studied and studied and studied. I mean, religiously. Like it gets to an evening at my house, and I must be 3 hours watching Thandas every night, and the simple things, all that somebody had to do will come away from her backhand. And if you notice, Terri just went her opposite way. She did all the fight, and Katarina Thandas didn't know what to do because her feet couldn't get in position because Terri was just coming off her right hand all the time. If you come to this way with Thandas, she's got a vicious overhand hook, and she throws it very vicious, relentlessly. And Terri just never let her get in that fight. But yeah, like Terri just explained, that we worked on that for months, the right hand left up low, because she's got like a short arm syndrome. Her arms look really short. She's tucked up really tight. She leaves all this wide open. And Terry's very, very heavy-handed. So I did work on that shot, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Like, I didn't even realize that. Because the last thing I was expecting was a stoppage. Like, I expected a points decision win. I didn't expect that she was actually going to get stopped. And she's never been beaten, let alone stopped. So I was really impressed by that because I've seen her fight. She's a very good fighter, very solid. She can hit hard. She's not a knockout puncher, but she can punch. So I was really shocked that you guys stopped her.
Yeah, to be totally honest, you know, during the fight and in the corner, I was saying to Lee Appleyard, who helps us, one of my boxers, I was waiting for Thandas to do something. It's like the fight was just that easy. It was potentially Terry's probably easiest fight that she's had for the last couple of years. It was just like she didn't get out of gear, and I was getting, it was becoming a little bit like I was waiting for her to do something, and then you don't realise that this is it. She can't do anything. Terri was making a negative. We're coming off a backhand, but when Terri for a full round didn't tell me she did her hand, she kept it from me because I said to her, what people didn't hear, you know, during the Jonas fight, the Smith brothers were in fight camp and there shouldn't have been anybody in, and they were shouting for a while. And I don't know if you noticed or what it was like on the zone over in America, but it ended every round they'll go into Tash and Jonas. So you didn't hear us. But for about 3 rounds, Terry's going, oh, them scouts are shouting, they're doing me head in, and I was telling her off for like not concentrating it because she were really put off with the noise. We were supposed to be behind closed doors, no fans, and all you could hear was scousers shouting for Jonas. So I drilled it into her this fight. I don't want no negativity in corner, no negativity. Just listen to me and let's work on what we've been doing. So she did her hand, what in 4th round you actually did it? Yeah. She actually broke her hand in the 4th and all the 5th. She didn't tell me. So I'm telling her, I says, listen, you're not throwing your backhand. And she come right over into me and she said, I think I broke it. I think I broke my hand. And I'm like, listen, you've not effing broke it. Get back, bit down on your gum shield and let that backhand go or she'll come on you. And
yeah, because I wanted to ask about the broken hand. Like, did she know that she broke it? Or was a lot of adrenaline?
I knew I hurt it. I didn't know I'd like it. I thought I have done something because like I can remember throwing the overhand and like the shot that I hit to it. But that didn't really hurt it. And then I came to body straight after and I thought that obviously your stomach's soft. So, and that just caused me so much pain. And every time I landed my backhand on it, it sent like a shock through my body, like to my toes and to the point where I'm having to hold on to it then because it just hurt that much.
And then I'm telling her off saying, you better get that right arm forward and not knowing it snapped. But when I realised in round 6 then we adapted then, I said, right, totally different, stay off. Move left, move right, confuser now. The work's been done, you've won this confuser. So it will just move left, move right. And then for about right up to end of round 8, I actually said to Terri, I said, now listen, I actually said it's becoming boring, didn't I? I said, it's boring now, Terri. You're winning that easy, it's boring. I said, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to bite down on your gum shield. Either let your right hand go and throw that left up to body because she's coming in. She was pressing that desperately, but coming in really tight. Mm-hmm. And that was the shot. It was just mad round 9. She threw her right hand, bless her. When I look back, I feel really bad for telling her to do that because when you see the mess on the hand, and she just threw a perfect left up to body. And I know there's a lot debatable saying it shouldn't have been stopped, but when Thanders probably didn't win a round. It was one-sided to Terri, and the wince. I don't know what you heard on the zone over there, but the wince were and she gone over in a ball, and then Terri just like were putting all the shots together, and there were nothing really coming back.
Yeah, so, on the zone platform, we heard it like I could hear that Catarina actually screamed.
Yeah,
when she hit with the shot, and it's like just like you said that it's been a one-sided contest so far. Thanders hasn't won a round. She just got dropped with a body shot. There's no need. Like, I didn't have a problem with the stoppage.
No, exactly. Like, so there were another full round to go. So me personally, I think the referee did the right thing. If you know, Thanders didn't moan. None of her team moaned. But obviously after, when they reflected, they did the moaning then. But full respect to Thanders. And I think she'll be back. And it'll be and good luck to her when she does, because she's a lovely woman and she was very gracious and very respectable. So it was an honour to share the ring with her.
Now, I wanted to ask, moving forward, I know you guys have seen Hyun-Mi Choi's Matchroom debut, and you saw, she was. My interpretation of it was she was fighting a good fight in the beginning, like she was looking really sharp out there. And out of nowhere, she just started kind of making mistakes. What was you guys' interpretation of Hyun-Mi Choi's last fight? Because this is who you're going to be fighting next, I assume.
Yeah. Well, what's your assumption of it?
So, like you said, like the start of the fight, to me, Choi looks strong. Long arms and stuff. She's took control from the start, really. But then, obviously, middle to back end of the fight, you kind of see her slow down a bit, get a bit sloppy with her arms and stuff, and just getting it with silly shots that she didn't need to be getting hit by. And she just made it an harder fight, and it kind of reminded me when I fought Tasha. Like, I could have made that an easier fight, and I kind of just got dragged into the wrong fight, and I made it an hard fight, an hard night for myself.
Maybe she was trying to matchroom debut on a big card on the Triple G. Maybe she tried too hard to look good, and there were a lot of eyes on her. Obviously, she knew she had a unification next, so maybe she overdid it. Maybe she overcooked the first 4 rounds, because I think she really hurt her, didn't she, in one of the early rounds? What, it 2 or 3, and she emptied a tank. So maybe she just never got a tank back, an engine, is what we'll call it. But I've got so much respect for Choi. I think she's a fantastic fighter.
Good story as well.
Yeah, great story. And the fact that she's to win 2 world titles at different weights and been in world title fights since the debut, you can. How a lot of people disrespect her and think she's a serious fighter, and she needs to be treated with a little bit more respect than Maya shows her. I think she's better than Maya, that's for sure.
Oh, and we'll get to Michaela. Believe you me, they've been begging me to ask you guys about Michaela. But first, I actually agree with everything you just said, Stefy. That to me, I think that because it was her matchroom debut, because she knows she's on the eve of a unification match, she probably was doing a bit too much, because she looked like she was about to have the girl out of there in 2 rounds. I remember she hurt the girl. She hit her with a straight shot. Looked like she was about to put her away. And out of nowhere, she just started giving up a height and taking a lot of shots that she doesn't need to take. Yeah. So I'll take that as, maybe it was nerves. Maybe it was angst. I've seen a lot of Hyun Mi Choi in the past. I'm like, no, she's a good fighter. She's tough.
She's very good. She's, it's first time out of her own country. So there's a lot of difference she's got to adapt to. So you've got to give her the benefit of doubt and let her settle in, hopefully the unification next. And start as you mean to go on kind of thing. I think she's a lot better than she showed, that's for sure.
I agree. Now, I got to ask you about everybody's favorite WBO champion at 130 pounds. Yeah. Michaela Mayer. There's a lot to talk about there. And the first thing I wanted to ask, why is it that with you and Michaela, it's different than with you and Hyun Mi Choi or you and Hyun Mi Choi? With Michaela, it seems a lot more personal, like it's a genuine rivalry. Whereas with the other girls, it's just business. You're a champion, I'm a champion, we want to unify. With Michaela, it's different. At what point did it become what it is today, the rivalry between you and Michaela?
I just think it's because she just goes on so much. Obviously, when she first started, like I was new to all this Twitter and stuff, and me, I'm the quietest person ever, and I don't like confrontation, don't like arguments. If I went out on the street and someone shouted at me now, I'd probably cry, and that's the truth. So,
pussy.
So I was new to all this Twitter stuff, and then once Maya started, I thought I was taking it personally, and I was just like. And I didn't have a thick skin back then, and obviously ever since she was saying I'm taking it personal, and I came away from Twitter. I said to Andrew, I don't want it, and that's when it was also run up to Tasha fight, like all trolls and that. It just got too much for me. I just wanted to focus on my boxing, and that were it. And I kind of said to my media management team, like for them to take over, and obviously Andrew. But now I have toughened up, and I just think it's part of the game. So. I do go on now and I do defend myself and I do write odd thing back, but I don't sit there all day on Twitter just arguing stupidly with her, because I'm just wasting my time and energy. So
can I just say, the worst thing about this, I'm going to tell you the secret. Terry had a crush on Maya, and because she's opened her mouth and been very cheeky, she's ruined it for Terry because now I don't like her.
As a boxing fan, I love it because I see that, this is something that the super featherweight division has needed. Not just a fight and not just a unification match, but a real rivalry, because that's a blessing in disguise. That makes fights bigger. So it's great that it is the way that it is. But I noticed that, it's just so personal with Terry and Michaela, whereas if Terry, she don't talk to Maiva Hamadouche like that. Like, she don't say that stuff.
I wonder why.
You know what I mean? I'm like, she don't talk to Maiva like that. She don't talk to Hyun Mi Choi like that. But whenever Terry's involved, it gets personal there.
I think Maya's got a crush on me. She don't stop talking about me. She talks more about me than Jen does. With that. Or she sees me as the biggest threat. That's what I think it is.
You know why this happens, don't you? Who's the money fight in that division? Who's the big player? You know,
Exactly.
that's what it is. Listen, I'm a manager and a promoter. I think she must think I'm just Terry's coach. I've been around this game for many years. I promote professional boxing. I invested £50,000 of my own money and took a gamble on Terry's world title fight when she won the IBO. So Mayor is doing a fantastic job, and just let her keep going. We love it. So I know where it's all leading.
Now, something she told IFL TV, and I got nothing against Michaela. I'm a fan of her too. I followed her career for years.
Yeah.
But she told IFL TV that she's the A side to y'all.
Well, let me just tell you something about this A side, because it does get a bit confusing, and boxing fans, like the hardcores understand, but the generals don't. Now, how big is female boxing in America at the minute? Females are not even getting a fight. The self-proclaimed greatest woman of all time, Claressa Shields, can't even get a fight. Ever Hardy can't get a fight. And what's she done? She's been on. She wasn't meant to be at main event when she won a WBO. She was somewhere down the bill, and she's going on about this A side. There's no interest in. Without sounding disrespectful, it's just not big in America, the women's boxing. Now, flip over to Terri, who's like headline fight camp that got massive numbers on Sky Sports. She's gone out chief support in a double header with Katie Taylor, 2.5 million views all over all socials, and she's been chief support in stadiums to Kell Brook. She personally sells thousands of tickets herself from where we live. And what makes Terri the B side to jump on a plane, go over to America and fight in away corner when she's on 6-figure purses?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so she's so deluded to be thinking that she's the A side. What kind of A side goes on social media and begs for a fight?
Well, you know what? I looked at it and I thought, you know what this is? Michaela's not dumb. Michaela's not dumb. I think I took it as, you know what? She's just trash talking. She has to be, because she knows.
Yeah.
Like we know that everything you just said, it's a matter of fact. The sport is not as big here. It's not garnering the viewership here.
That's not being sounding disrespectful or anything. That's just the way the business is. The market for female boxers in America is a no-go. There's nobody fighting. Claressa Shields, super talented fighter, not even boxing herself. And then look at it over here in the UK, live. Eddie Hearn's doing an absolute, and Matchroom doing an amazing job with female sport in with the boxing over here. And it's like I say, you're not being disrespectful. It's just that's how it is. It's not there, is it?
I think that she's doing it because she knows that, as deluded as it might sound, it helps build the fight. Because that's how I took it.
100%. I sit there and I let her do. Now and again, I'll throw something in and I'll have a little message back and have a little bit of fun. Terri, she's muted. So Terri don't even. Only time Terri sees anything is somebody screenshot it and I'll send it. Hello, your mate see it, Terri, and then Terri will just come up, boom, and pull her in. And it's like she thinks. By the way, she thinks it's me tweeting from Terri.
It is really me.
She thinks that's me. I don't. I
wanted to ask, because she keeps saying that. I saw her say it on Twitter. I saw her say it on IFL TV. She said that, oh, that's not Terri saying that stuff. Terri don't talk. That's Stefy.
No, I've really got no respect for Mayor. It is me. It is me. I've got thick skin though.
No, I dig it. I dig it. Once again, I think it's great because I've been waiting for this, especially for the super featherweight division. This is exactly what the division needed. But Michaela, if you're listening, that's actually Terri you're talking to. That's not Stefy. That's Terri. Everybody say hi to Michaela.
Hi, Michaela.
You know what I mean? So, moving forward, I guess I wanted to ask you what's you guys' perception of the fights, because you guys basically want to become undisputed. Do you view Michaela as the biggest fight for Terri?
Commercially, 100%. Commercially, yeah, we are a doubt. But I personally think Choi will be an harder fight than Michaela as a coach, and I really do. I think you've got to be disrespectful here, but Maya's she's like a walking lamppost. There's no lateral movement. Do you know, like when somebody's brought both the legs and they're in pots and they stand up and they can't. She's got stiff legs, no lateral movement. She can't crack an egg. There's nothing in her jab. She's going on that us Europeans have got no jab. So can I ask you a question? Do you think Michaela's got a better jab than Terri?
That's a tough question because comparatively, and I got nothing against Michaela. I respect both her and Terri as athletes.
It's a question where a fellow American who's...
I would say I've seen Terry's jab against a better quality of competition. So that makes me lean towards Terry's jab. I've seen Terry's jab with Natasha Jonas. I've seen it with Eva Wallstrom. I've seen it with Katharina Sanders.
Exactly.
That tells me, because, you know, it's all interpretation. But if I'm looking at the people that Terry has fought,
and then I'm looking at facts and what you see on paper and what you say in the facts. Has Terry got better legs than Michaela? Better movement? Who's the better footwork?
My honest opinion, footwork about even. Inside work goes to Mayer. Jab goes to Terry.
Backhand.
Say it again.
Backhand.
I think Terry, and it's because Terry's power looks to be the real thing because of who she's fought. She dropped Eva Wallstrom. She stopped Katharina Sanders. She had Tasha hurt in spots in the fight. These are all very good fighters. Whereas I like Michaela, and if she's listening, I got nothing against her. But I know that Helen Joseph, for example, is a naturally smaller fighter. She don't normally.
She's boxed at bantamweight. I mean, say Michaela had life and death with Elizabeth Crespo, a featherweight. Now, I'm not being disrespectful. What would Terry do with Elizabeth Crespo?
She'd stop her.
Exactly. Michaela had life and death. She can't crack an egg. She didn't stop anybody in amateurs. It's like she can say what she wants, build the fight. Terry, do you want to fight Michaela Mayer?
Yeah.
Nobody's running from Michaela Mayer. Trust me, we want Michaela Mayer.
Yeah, and do you know what I don't get? Like, people on Twitter saying, oh, she don't want the smoke, oh, she's scared. And I just think, I'm in wrong job if I'm scared. Like, if Andrew told me that I have to fight Mayer tomorrow, I'd fight her because it's my job. And the day I do get scared of a fight is the day I'll not box no more. So I'm not scared of fighting anyone.
Look at, like, do you know Terry's resume since do you know what? I'll just tell you a little. On Terry's 5th or 6th fight, the one where she fought the Claudia Lopez, we got offered Tasha Jonas by Matchroom for £10,000. We accepted for that. For them, we had 4 weeks' notice for that fight. Terry's a proper fighter. I'm not. We don't moan about money. £10,000 for us who's come from a council estate. Working in a chip shop. We'll have it, Eddie. Jonas knocked it back. Her team, they didn't have it. So Eddie honoured us, kept us on the bill and got us Claudia Lopez. But look at Terry's resume since she's been in a 5th fight. After only having 17 fights as a junior and 3 or 4 years out, whatever it was. She's been fighting girls with winning records. Oberhoff, winning records. She beat Eva Wallstrom after a 9th fight in 2 years in a professional ring. She wasn't even a full-time professional. She was at a chip shop. She was at university. She just got a degree, and she was still training twice a day. She was doing all this. Eva Wallstrom's a damn good fighter, and she was a pound for pound 10. And Terry, the fight wasn't even. It was competitive, but Terry wasn't comfortable. And like people like Oberhoff, comfortable. Terry's only ever been in one proper fight, which was Jonas. And there were a lot of things we did wrong. A lot of things. We don't need to make excuses, but a lot of things were done wrong, which would correct next time. And Jonas has only been the one fight Terry's had. She's been comfortable throughout all this. Whereas, like you say, with Mayer, life and death with Crespo, and she didn't look $1 million against Brodnicka and stuff. So, it's what makes things Mayer that she's this superstar and this A side. She's deluded, mate. But we like deluded.
I would say it's because I think a lot of the context, if you've been following the division and you've been following the fighters, that gives you all the context you need to know that, okay, well, Terry's not scared, because if she was a scared fighter, you wouldn't be fighting Oberhoff, who stopped Natasha Jonas a while ago. If she was scared, if she was scared, she wouldn't have fought Eva Wallstrom as soon as she did, because Eva has a good amateur background and she has a good professional resume. So I don't think the question that a lot of people ask me, which is one of the questions they left for you guys, is what order, why are the fights happening in the order that they're happening? Like, why Hyun-Mi Choi before Mayer? And that's what I think gives people the impression that maybe there's apprehensiveness because the fights are happening in a certain order. What would you tell those people?
What I'll do, I'll explain my side from a manager and the business side, and then you can ask Terri. She's got her own mouth. What order would you like to fight the champions? Others, if you had a pick.
Well, I'd fight Maya just to shut her up, and then I can concentrate on everyone else. But I just fight. For me personally,
she's got her own mouth.
I fight who I'm told. So, but yeah, if I got told I had to fight Maya next, I'd fight her.
And then after Maya, what order would you like after Maya?
Choi.
And then finish off with Amadouche with Undisputed. So that would be Terri's pick. As now, me to explain to people, there wasn't really, and I know, Terri and Maya's not going to be as easy as making a fight. She's with Bob, Terri's with Eddie, different stations, different networks. They're going to think like Maya's already going on about A-side when she ain't. If Maya wants that fight, she'll be getting on a little plane, staying in a little crappy hotel in UK. She'll be coming to a stadium in front of 17,000 people and nobody screaming for her.
But, this is what I want to ask you, because somebody told me something yesterday, right? That it was a point of contention. They basically said they don't think that Michaela really wants to fight, and she's just using Terri's name to get press. Now, I'm not going to opt for that conclusion, but how does it look to you, Stefy? Well, do you think she wants to fight?
I think what it is like we all know that Maeve is the hardest fight in the division because of a stylistic list. She's relentless. She's not. She don't. That's another one as well. Let me just stress. Nobody's running from her. If we were fighting Maeve next, that'd be the fight. Maeve's front foot, come forward, relentless. But how do you beat Maeve? You've got to have good legs. Who's got good legs? Terri Harper. You've got to have a strong backhand to keep her long and hit her hard. Who's got that? Terri Harper. Who's got a good jab? Who can put combinations together? We've got all the assets to beat Maeve and Amadouche. Who's been Maeve and Amadouche's hardest fight? The other French girl who were tall, long and rangy. Half and half record, not great. Been Maeve's hardest fight. Why? Punching long. Terri's got all the attributes to beat Maeve, and we're happy with the fight. That's not a problem. But business is business, and obviously I think what happened, when Eddie signed Choi, the agreement was unification with Terri. So we've just put his hands up. Yeah, we're happy with that, Eddie, and let's go with that. So as far as we know, things might have changed. We've not spoke to Eddie for a few weeks, but terms were agreed for Choi next. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is how simple it could be, right? If Terri's fighting Choi next, why don't Maya, if Maya really wants to be undisputed, does she want to fight Terri for a big payday, or does she want to be undisputed? Because if she does, I'll happily ask Eddie, and I'll put it in a contract. Terri, Choi, Maeve, and Maya, winners, box.
Mm-hmm.
Let's even do a 2-fight deal for whoever it is. So you're in the, a 2-fight deal for undisputed. Why not?
Yeah, because I want to do that. I want
to that. We could have an undisputed champion winning 2 fights here.
Because that's how I look at it. That
exactly. But do you
think if Terri's taking care of Hyun-Mi Choi, right? The only logical thing to do thereafter for Michaela is to fight Maeva, get that belt, and then it's just got 2 before the year is over. Just
exactly. But does Maya really want to fight, mate? She'll say, "Yeah, I'll fight." Does she really want to? Does she want to be undisputed? She's already saying, but don't, in the interview with IFL, don't lowball me with an offer. I want the fight, but don't lowball me. What's that mean? She's already been lowballed. What's she earning? You see figures in America, don't they announce what purses they've been earning on shows and things?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Terri's the money fight in the 130 division. That's what Maya's after, the money fight. Not undisputed. She's after the money fight.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. That do you get the impression? Do you guys get the impression that she wants? A lot of people tell me this, and I don't like to just run with wild opinions, but a lot of people tell me this. They think that she doesn't want the Hamadouche fight. They think that she's afraid of Hamadouche.
She won't fight Hamadouche. I would happily ask Eddie to put it in a contract. Let's do a 4-person tournament. Do something with Top Rank. All the 4. Terry's agreed terms for Choi. Them 2 fight you, and the winners fight. We could have undisputed in 2 fights, but it won't happen. Why is Mayor knows, or it's like public. Eddie's even gone public, which you'll have seen regarding the Choi. Choi's mentioned it. Why is she popping up when Terry's got a broken hand and asking her for a fight? It's like Mayor's Hamadouche is there with no fight. IBF champion at world. She said she's boxing in March. Hamadouche is available. Get on with that. We'll get on with ours, and we could have an undisputed champ by summertime. We're happy.
I mean, that's essentially, because I don't want to vilify her or attack her or run with what anyone else is saying, but a lot of people lately, they've been coming to me and they've been telling me that they don't actually think Michaela wants Terry. They think she just wants to use her name. They think that Michaela is afraid, and I'm not co-signing any of it, but this is what people are telling me outside looking in. Terry, I mean, do you think that she wants to fight you? When you see the back and forth, everything that you're dealing with on social media, do you believe that Michaela really wants to fight you, or do you think that this is all just for press?
See, I do think she does want to fight me. Because she'd not be.
I think she wants to fight, definitely.
But I definitely do believe she's using my name now to build. Obviously with the press and stuff, definitely. It can be built up to a big money fight, so why not?
Yeah, because I think at the same time, for the fight to live up to what it could be, you know, and a lot of people aren't going to like me saying this because it's not necessarily what you would expect to hear from a boxing fan. But for the fight to be everything that it could be, it shouldn't be next. I'd love to see it. If it came on next, yeah, of course I'm going to watch it, of course. But for the fight to be everything that it could be, no, it shouldn't be next.
No.
It should be Terry, you, me, and Michaela, and Maiva. Then you have the build-up. Then it's a super fight, which is what the sport needs, which is what the division needs. And that's my interpretation of it. That if Michaela's not next, that's why.
100%. And me as a manager, you could be no further than the 2 semi-finalists with the belts. They're going to be double champions, unified, for undisputed. You could even do a return, like a 2-fight final. So you know the money's doubled. It could be massive, but you could do it as a mini tournament. But listen, we're all ideally this fight, that'd be great. But me personally, if Terry and Choi's confirmed, 100%, Mayor they'll get a nice, steady, easy touch defense. But there's look at Terry and Jonas, one massive in UK, an all British world title fight. Why don't you Mayor go and fight somebody in America and make a big fight? There's loads of girls out there. The girl who you had on recently, that Barn,
Alicia Baumgartner. Yeah.
It's pronouncing her name. There's good fights over there. What would get America watching, but would she be fighting them? Very much doubt it.
I mean, beyond that fight, because I feel like we're also focusing on Michaela a little bit too much, even though she's
let's move on.
What are your goals for 2021 and beyond?
Hopefully unification with Choi. Making sure Anne's well. And then I want to be undisputed if it can happen this year. If not, just staying busy and then building up to obviously next year.
One question I have for you is, okay, let's say hypothetically you're undisputed by the end of the year. Is the Katie Taylor fight something that you would pursue thereafter? Would you move up to 135 and challenge her for undisputed at 135?
Well, for me, what kind of asked you this other day, didn't I? What would I do after if it became undisputed, but
It's hard to see anything above because we really want to concentrate on 130 division because I know it's like Terry's people forget Terry's only 24-year-old, just. And Michaela, like, 30-year-old, Amadou's 30-odd-year-old, all the rest of it, Natasha, 36, she's 24-year-old. So, while ever Katie Taylor's here, can you imagine Terry being undisputed? I think her and Katie, done correct, could be a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Pay-per-view, it could be massive this way on. But I'd like Terry, like, she's young, get the experience. There's some great champions, not great champions, great contenders this way. So if she was to become undisputed, there's good defences to have. Ellen McKellar deserves a world title fight after what's happened to her. And I like, she's another good fighter and she deserves an opportunity. She's number one. She was number one with the WBC before everything happened. It looks like she's number one by the WBA. So there's a lot of good girls at good fights.
Yeah, I was gonna bring her up because a lot of people aren't talking about her, but she's actually a really good fighter. If you've seen her, she's a really good fighter.
Exactly. So the question, me as a manager, the question, regarding the Katie, it's a fight that if it were to happen, it could be massive. But I'm not like running for that or pesting Eddie. And Eddie's not really mentioned it to us or anything. It's never been a talkative point. I think Katie's on her own path and Terry at the moment's on her own path. So we try and be very respectful because obviously that's Terry's hero and it's like something you don't, But as a manager, I think there's some great fights, like you're saying, Ellen McKellar at this weight. Everardi in and around these weights would be big fights in America and stuff. But
if Terry becomes undisputed by the end of this year, I could literally think of like 10 fights there at 130. That's before she moves up to 35. I could literally think of 10 fights that she could have as undisputed champion title defenses that make sense before you decide to leave the division. And they're all good fights with good fighters. They're all credible opponents. So there doesn't have to be a rush for a Katie Taylor fight.
It's the fact, it's the age. And while we're touching subjects about other fighters, I'll clarify something because we've not had a chance to, or we've not spoke. This is probably Terry's first real interview since the Jonas fight. But when Terry went for a new contract and we sat with Eddie, Natasha Jonas was in the contract. We signed a contract to fight Thanders and we were fighting Jonas next. We sat and signed the contract, done. We get sick of people saying Terry's dodging a fight. She ain't dodging no fight. We sat and signed a contract with Jonas in it. And the problem is, or the situation is that Jonas wasn't happy with her contract and she didn't sign. But, and another thing that I want to touch on while we're on this subject is a lot of fighters are going on about this money and purses and this kind, and it's like, me personally, people can say what they want. £25,000, I think, is good money. I've got male fighters in this current climate, remember, the climate we're in, that would chop their arm off for a £25,000 purse for European titles. So 10 2-minute rounds for £25,000 is not a bad purse, in my opinion. Everybody will be different. Everybody will have the stories. But them who's been turning it down, what purses have they been fighting for?
I wanted to ask you about that because I saw everything that's been going on with Kalia Karuni, that there was an exchange on Twitter between you and Kalia, the stuff that Heather Hardy said about, a $26,000 purse. And that I wanted to talk to you about that's a very good point that, okay, if this money's not okay, that's understandable. It's your choice. You can accept it or reject it. But what's the alternative?
We took that gamble with Eva.
Terri Harper fought Eva Wallstrom for $25,000. No problems. Because it was an opportunity. She was a 23-year-old woman, nothing to lose, 9 fights. She was working in a chip shop, mate. What confuses me is before what kind of money are these women on to be knocking 20 and saying it's a bad purse? What's ever take the and this is not being disrespectful to these fighters, by the way. We're talking about the situation and the money, but take Serrano away from Everardi. What kind of money has she been getting all her career? So how can you sit and say in a pandemic £25,000 not enough money or not good enough? Now that's their opinion, but what I'd be interested to know is what they've been earning, because it won't have been £25,000.
Yeah, and I try to treat the subject with the same reverence that you do. That I don't want to castigate anyone, but that's the question that I have at the end of it as well. That okay, if 25,000 is not enough, fine, it's your decision. Yeah. But what is the alternative? Because if this is not enough, I don't know what you're expecting to get because it's not out there. You know, like
there's no crowds, there's no one sat in stadiums, there's no boxing happening. So I think £25,000 is in this current climate is not at the time is not bad money. But what I want to explain is, like I say, Terri Harper fought Eva Wallstrom for £25,000. Why? Because we were confident we're winning. Maybe these girls are not taking fights because they ain't confident of winning. And it's like, look what's happened. Look where Terry's career's come. Now she's full time. She's got the world's her oyster, commercial value, 6-figure fight purses pending. From why? Taking that £25,000 gamble. That's why it happened. You don't just get given things. You've got to work hard. And look, nobody knows who Terri Harper was, only yourself. Mayor wouldn't have known who Terri Harper was until we turned up on 7th of February and schooled Eva Wallstrom. And then all of a sudden, who's this girl? I deserve my chance, not her. Terry had been taking her chances and gambles. And it's like I explained, Terry's 6th fight. We were prepared to fight Jonas for 10 grand, mate. She'd only been a pro 2 years.
Now that you brought it up, it seems to me that, you know what, maybe that's what Michaela's raw about, because the story was, I remember what was being reported at the time, that, you know, Michaela was in negotiations for Eva Wallstrom, but, you know, Matchroom came in and offered Eva more money. Terry got the fight. And I think that maybe that's why it's personal between Michaela and Terry, because it's like, well, you took the fight, da-da-da-da-da. That's probably what she's mad about now that I think about it.
Quite possibly, but Eddie sat down when we had a meeting and he signed Terry. He shared our vision. He believed in Terry, and he's been fantastic with us from day one. He's been supportive. He's done everything that he said he would do, and looked after Terry financially, and he's doing a great job with us. And we couldn't be more grateful. So you know, us getting Eva Wallstrom, although
that's not our fault. What does me look?
Yeah,
can't turn it down.
Although Terry's won a low purse, Eva Wallstrom would have been getting a fortune, and that's just the way it is. But now the tides have turned. Terry's sat at top of the tree, WBC IBO champion of the world, and we took a gamble, and it worked.
Yeah, because that's how I looked at it. That look, it was a gamble for Terry. I mean, because it's like, when you're covering the stories, you don't want to lean too far to one side. But looking at it, I'm like, well, I don't think that they paid Terry a fortune to fight Eva, but she still fought her. She fought her. And that's what needs to happen. That you gotta take that risk in that fight that's risky, because on the other side of it is everything else.
Opportunity knocks.
Yeah. So and I don't want to, once again, I don't want to castigate anyone or judge anybody harshly, but that's how I looked at it. They're like, dog, they probably didn't pay Terry a whole heap of money for the Wallstrom fight, but she still took it. And she doesn't have the amateur background of Eva, because Eva actually has an amateur background. She fought a lot of girls in the amateurs. She fought a lot of girls
over 300 amateur fights Eva Wallstrom had.
And you know, most people, I guess they don't know that, or they don't realize that, but all of this is easily searchable. Like, yeah, Eva had a AMI background, good AMI background, for a lot of girls.
Yeah.
Terry fought her, and it wasn't for a fortune. So you can't say that this money is no good when, okay, well, what's the alternative? What's the alternative?
That is the thing. That how much do you think she'll be getting fighting for that Hernandez? It'll be on there'll be no TV. What belt? I don't even know them belts they're fighting for. I mean, they're not governing bodied, are they? And it's like, what will she be getting paid for that? She turned Choi down for 25 grand. but she'll go and fight Hernandez for peanuts.
Yeah, no, well, I heard she made a post. Kalia Karuni, we're talking about.
She's another one that's deluded. She's another one that's deluded. I mean, to really think she'll beat Terri and pull that Pete Tyson when she's done interviews, I do this and Terry's crap, and she's been bought titles. It's like crazy. Where can they come out with this stuff?
Well, in the spirit of fairness and calling it down the middle and objectivity, I'll say I'll forgive Kalia believing in herself because I know it's necessary. It's a very competitive sport. She has to believe in herself, and I understand that. But I saw that she's going to be fighting Layla McCarter in March.
Not Hernandez, Layla McCartney, yeah.
And I just wondered, are you going to get for Layla what was on the table for you for Choi? Because I don't know.
It's not going to be on a TV network. It'll be in some sports hall somewhere in America, won't it? It's not going to be on a big old event on TVs. But it is what it is, isn't it? And this is what happens in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, Kalia can get herself into, position.
Hopefully she can beat someone with a winning record and be recognised and get some respect of people who can really fight.
Yeah, because I try to be impartial. I have to be, I have to be impartial. I got to be objective. Yeah. But I'm like, just do your thing. God bless you. Do your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because I don't want to judge. Like I understand if nobody believes in you, you have to believe in yourself, even if nobody else does. So I understand she's coming from. Best wishes in the McCarter fight.
I have that confidence. I'm reflying.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I'm like, yo, look, you. I don't believe for a second you're gonna get 5 figures fighting Layla McCarter, but maybe she is. I don't know the whole. I don't know everything. I'm not God, so best wishes to her.
Good luck, Jordan. And not all this. I mean, we can laugh at a joke, but she has said a few nasty things about Terri in some interviews. Then she starts going, making out as if she's realised she said something nasty and really pulled her down. And like, she's WBC champion at world, beat some great fighters. You've not even beat anyone with a winning record. You're having life and death with journey women, and like you sat there pulling a WBC champion down. But you know what? Boxing's an hard slog. You only can wish them good health and good luck, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the most I can say. That I wish her the best. I hope she has a very good 2021. I hope that she rounds out. She has a new trainer and she's in a new situation. God bless her. Best wishes, and hopefully a fight happens one day. But as far as the purse stuff, I was kind of scratching my head like, well, I mean, if that you can't be getting $25,000 for Layla McCarter.
Well, she went on disrespecting the money. Then she backtracked, saying, "Well, it's not the money. It's cost the notice." But then she goes on saying, "I'm in the gym all the time." They might be in gym, but they want to stop eating these burgers because that's the problem. They're overweight. While I'm eating these cookies.
That's the problem.
That's the truth. It's not the money. It's not. Listen, I fought Amir Khan on 3 weeks' notice. I didn't eat for 3 weeks, and I was running 20 miles a day to get weight off. It's like, if you want to fight, you'll fight. Who knocks a WBC, a WBO? Who knocks a genuine world title fight back? Somebody overweight. That's because it's impossible to fight.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be as how can I put it? Impartial, because I think a lot of things when I hear stuff. I think, if I hear that time is an issue, that kind of tells me, what, are you not on weight? Or are you, like, what's going on? Are you not ready? Because time is an issue. So I'm like, something's not right here, because it's an opportunity. A lot of people want to fight Terri Harper. A lot of people want to fight a Hugh Meat Choi. So if these opportunities are being made available to you and you don't want them, I feel like, what's going on?
It's called professional boxing, professional fighters. These people should be in gym. Terry's a professional athlete. She's in the gym twice a day, every day. It's her job now. She's full time, and a professional athlete should be ready. In my opinion,
it's only breaking me on. That's really when we stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was my interpretation of it. So moving past that, because, once again, I'm not trying to say nothing bad about nobody. God bless all the fighters, right? I ain't saying nothing bad about nobody.
You're getting me bitching, you are. You're getting me bitching. And you're loving it.
Look, I love them all, and I hope everybody gets to make a whole lot of goddamn money because I want to make a whole lot of goddamn money. So,
all joking aside, it's a business, and even same with Maya, and you can have a lot like we don't. It is personal with Terri, isn't it? But she's doing a great job selling a fight, and just keep it going, innit? That it's a business at the end of the day, so.
Yeah, because I don't want to make it seem like, and I don't think she's gonna give me an interview after this because she's gonna be like, oh, well, you just like Terri Harper, da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, nah, Michaela, and I know she listening, dog. I know she listening. Yeah. She be on it. I'm a fan of her too. I've been following her for years. So I just here to cover the sport and get it exposure in this part of the world. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do. All right. Yeah. So that being said, just beyond all this stuff, beyond I guess Choi Karuni, what is your message, Terri, to Michaela Mayer for everything she says about you every single day on Twitter? What would you like to communicate to Michaela?
One day I'm gonna make her regret every word she said to me.
So let her know I'm gonna reiterate because this I think this has been about maybe a half an hour. Let her know it's actually you on Twitter. It's not Stefy. It's actually you saying stuff.
It is me, and I would put a picture on my face, but I don't want my best at the minute. But yeah, it is me on Twitter. I don't let Andrew go on it now because he does too many spelling mistakes. But yeah, it's me who's got Twitter. I've now got a thick skin, and I've now learned how to stick up for myself. So Maya, the lack of respect that you're seeing on Twitter from my tweets, it is from me because I've got no respect for you.
Ooh! Tease in the house.
I dig it. I'm happy to hear it. So, Stefy, Terri, it's been a pleasure. I hope to have you on another time. Thank you for coming on and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. And like I say, I've been a big supporter of your channel. And the only reason why I've come on here and brung Terri on is because the push you gave for women's boxing, you do stay impartial. And I think you're doing great. And I've knocked 2 British interviews back today because we don't really do them. You'll not see many from Terri, and I don't. It's not my job. It's all about the fighters. But the job you do for women's boxing is brilliant, mate. So keep it up.
Thank you. Appreciate you. God bless you and Terri. I hope y'all have a great 2021. Hope y'all make a lot of money. Pleasure having you on. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right.
See you later.
See you later.